Welcome to the Nagual Zone. I am Anaam. Today we are talking yet again about fear. Fear part 2. The first video is live on the channel. Go and watch it. And there I talked about the attributes of fear, the properties of fear. And let's recap very quickly. Fear is not rational. I explained that in the video. It is not rational. When someone is afraid of certain things that are being peddled by the parasite at the moment, weather being one of them, or other things, there's no evidence, counter evidence, amazing sounding scientific arguments that you can give to that fearful human being. It's not rational. You will not achieve anything. It's very important to realize your fear is not rational. It's not rational. Don't try and combat it by telling yourself the facts or whatever else. That's not how it works. It is contagious. You can at any given moment either be contributing to the well-being of the world you live in, or you can be contributing to the fear factor by feeling afraid yourself. You can't do both. But the parasite has convinced you that the more fear you feel, the more you're contributing positively to society somehow. It's called hashtags stay safe. The parasite is, I've said this countless times, flip around whatever the parasite has brainwashed you into and you will get you'll get reality. Stay safe. What does that trigger in you? Imagine if I called you up, or your mom called you up and say, are you okay? Are you okay? What's happened? And you go, what happened? What happened? Right? Yeah. The parasite knows exactly what it's doing. These hashtags, they don't just emerge into the digital ethers somehow by chance. Hashtag stay safe. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But you want to stay away from fear because you can either want the well-being of your world, in that case stop the nonsense, or you can contribute by yourself being afraid to the overall fear tanks of this world. Now, it is by Toltec warriors considered to be the first enemy, the first gateway, the first challenge you will encounter along your journey to elevation, to evolution, and so on and so forth, right? And there is a shortcut around it. It short circuits fear, but you have to practice a lot, which is stop, check what you're describing. Whenever you're feeling afraid, you're describing something. You will see this every single time. When you're afraid, you're describing something, either in images or in perception. You're describing something in perception, in your perception. Stop the description and you short circuit the fear. All right, fear part 2. Here I will describe how warriors deal with this, because warriors are human beings, right? And every apprentice feels afraid till they don't one day. And the benefactor leads the apprentice on towards that place where they one day feel no fear whatsoever. I was telling people in the meeting right now, this is a masterclass going on. This video is part of the bigger masterclass. I urge you to come and join me every Sunday, 8 p.m. UK time. I was telling them that fear is something that warriors can use. Warriors are adept at making everything useful. The one question the warrior asks is, how can this be useful to me? Whatever it is. Nutrition, I need to eat. I'm hungry. Okay, what's in the fridge? This. How can I make something useful out of it instead of going out and buying a Mars bar or something and just having some usefulness? A Mars bar is not useful as nutrition, is it? I'm feeling lonely. It's time to go to bed, but I'm awake, depressed and lonely. Okay, all right. Ask the question, how can I turn this into usefulness? What you don't get to do is go to the fridge. Don't go to the fridge, just ask. All right, this fear and loneliness, this depression and loneliness, how can this be turned into a useful experience for me? You could ask that question, you know that. And by the way, switch off that TV before you ask that question. Switch that TV off. I'll tell you what's really great for, at least for me, and my friends and the people I grew up with. Sometimes, let me just put it this way, sometimes you've got to put AC/DC on at loud volumes and just totally rock out. It'll dispel all your poisonous vapors within you that are rising up and getting you drunk on your depression and all this other nonsense. Just put on AC/DC, Metallica, Enter Sandman, the 80s stuff. Don't put anything on from nowadays. It's useless. The 80s stuff, the vintage stuff, or Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses. Crank the volume up and rock out and see what happens. All that bile will be released from you. Anyway, so warriors decided that one time in olden days, they decided, all right, fear is something that is ever present in everyone, and the parasite takes great advantage of it to keep us disempowered. How can we make fear useful? It's no use banishing it away or wishing it away or suppressing it or denying it or any of these things. It's not useful, right? What do? Then warriors saw that fear has certain things, certain attributes that they could latch onto, that would alchemize it in them. Warriors saw that fear is fearlessness, the goal of a warrior, to not feel afraid, to not be paralyzed by fear. Fearlessness, warriors observed, was manifested completely, natural fearlessness, just completely fearless, in the average man's consensus reality, when the average man had nothing left to lose. Nothing left to lose. When the average man had nothing left to lose, that person became very fearless. Suddenly a great courage arose in them, and you wouldn't even call it courage, it's more like a stubbornness. That person just dug their heels and said, right, okay, right, come at me, kill me. That's all you can do now, is kill me. Otherwise, I'll kill you. That's how it's gonna end now, right? So that kind of fearlessness, warriors covet that a lot. That's the warrior's attitude. Warriors covet that attitude. That shift of the assemblage point to that place, that's a prized possession for a warrior. You don't get to be a warrior without it, right? Then the warriors also observed that fearlessness naturally arose in the average man if the mating instinct was challenged, or rather the fruits of the mating instinct. So you have a perfectly timid woman, weak, timid, doormat, however, threaten the child. Watch what happens, right? Everyone knows this bullshit story. It's probably never happened, but it illustrates the point. The child was trapped under the car, and the puny woman picked up the car with her bare hands, and the child was rescued. but it illustrates the point. Warriors observe, oh, okay, total fearlessness and incredible power is released when the mating instinct and its fruits are challenged. Great drive is produced in the man. You killed my wife and children, right? Now watch what happens, and I'll dedicate my life to, taking revenge and all, or whatever. In real life, it doesn't happen like that. In Netflix, it happens. But, it's a strange switch that gets thrown when something like that is happening. And the third thing that the warriors observed in the average man that produces total fearlessness. Total fearlessness. And the kind of fearlessness that the ancient seers, when they saw the energetic field of that person in this third way, they saw that the energetic field lit up lit up in a particularly luminous way. And that was when that person was acting according to their conscience. People who act according to their conscience at all times, these are fearless people, completely fearless. There are other combinations and permutations of fearlessness, but these were the chief three that warriors have observed over time, and I'm sure you may come up with more. Put them in the comments if other fearless states occur to you. And I'm not talking about skydiving and fucking swimming with sharks and all. Don't be silly. But, be reasonable. So the warriors then tested it, verified it. They said, okay, what happens if I've got nothing to lose? And the typical response, many warriors over many generations tried, and the typical response was, well, I can't quite manufacture this state. It's hard to manufacture this state. It's very hard. It's very hard for me to really even be aware of my own death, let alone live as if I've got nothing to lose. It's a strange, people are I'm becoming more and more insane trying to pretend something that isn't. So that didn't quite work. Secondly, the warriors tried, right, okay, threaten my kid and then that will be activated and then I can use that fearlessness for my advantage. But you can't threaten your own kid, can you? So you have to wait for the kidnappers or something bullying to happen or whatever, that's too much waiting for chance to happen. Warriors don't have the time to just be waiting around. So that the mating instinct, I must say that in the warrior's world is one of the most useless things, really. It has such limited use in such limited situations that it's kind of like the warrior might as well use their precious energy deployed in much more efficient return on investment, right? The mating instinct is so much hassle to go through. You have to be dating, and then you have to put up with the other person's fucking bullshit. And then if it's a woman you're with, then she'll try and assimilate you into her fucking clan, because you never date the woman, you date the whole bloody clan, don't you? If it's the man, you have to put up with his bullshit, his childish, infantile, emotional nonsense, and completely emotional retard. So it's just, then you have to have sex and it's temporary, you're never satisfied and you're fucking away and it's like, oh, and nothing's happening, and then you're hating each other afterwards, and then it becomes Valentine's Day, you're supposed to be giving cards and it's too much hassle. And then you're gonna break up in a year anyway, 2 years max if you're particularly not retarded. You see how it goes? It's too inefficient, Don't bother with it. If you're serious about the Toltec path, I'm not saying be celibate. I'm saying there are better pursuits. Far more interesting, by the way, pursuits. However, no one's asking you to be a monk and just lock your genitals away. No one's asking you to do that. Anyway, so these two, virtually useless, nothing to lose. It's a manufactured state for the warrior, because unless they find themselves in a situation, and then in the old days it was recommended, go and seek out a petty tyrant who will bully you, who will try and crush you under their heel. Then you will manufacture the state of nothing to lose, and then therefore you will be fearless, and so on and so forth. In this modern day world, where are you going to go to seek a petty tyrant? It's all just nonsense, isn't it? You're too safe. You live in the Truman Show world. You don't have, believe me, you think you have petty tyrants, you don't. And warriors realized that the third alternative, acting according to conscience, really suited them. At least a particular school of Toltec thought. Though I really espouse this, I really preach this one, right? I really recommend this one, because it not only it is sustainable. Someone who acts according to their conscience, nothing to lose, will burn out eventually. When your comfort zone, when you come back into your comfort zone, you will stop behaving as if you got nothing to lose, right? So it's not sustainable. The mating instinct, it's obviously not sustainable. I don't need to go into that because of all the bullshit that surrounds it. It's not sustainable. Conscience, on the other hand, is sustainable over a lifetime. A lifetime. And this was fantastic for the warrior. Very, very useful. Let's act always according to my conscience. What did I just say? According to what? My conscience. Now, the parasite will convince you that you should be acting according to social conscience. Everyone should be breathing their own exhalations to keep #stay safe. Stay safe. So, a thought occurred to me the other day, a most horrific thought. I don't smoke, never will. I recommend you don't either. If you do, you are a pitiable slave indeed to tobacco. Imagine smoking and then wearing the stay safe. That mouth, the stink, can you believe it? That's you. If you smoke, that's you. I know you. You don't act according to your conscience. You act according to the parasite's conscience, don't you? And the parasite's conscience, it's not a conscience. It's just to harvest your awareness. The parasite has even miseducated you on what conscience means. You have no idea what conscience means. You know the word, you have no idea what it means in action. It's like if you've never been to New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey. I've heard about it because I used to be a big Bruce Springsteen fan 20 years ago. I've never been to New Jersey, but I feel like if someone told me about New Jersey, I feel like I have enough associations to convince myself that I know everything about it or know something about it. Conscious is the same for you. You've heard the word so many times in such bullshit ways in the movie and Hollywood and Disney and novels and comics and all the stuff you've grown up with, toys and G.I. Joe and Action Man or Barbie doll for the women. All this bullshit, and you think you have certain associations with the word conscience, and they're all given to you by the parasite. Every single one. You don't know what acting according to your conscience really means. Sometimes you have acted according to your conscience in your life. Warriors are saying that sometimes fueling your car isn't good enough, is it? Oh, You fuel your car when the car needs fuel. That's it. You don't have an option. You want to drive your car, fuel it. It's that kind of deal. You don't sometimes, once in a lifetime, get to act on your conscience and be happy about it. That's worthless for warriors. So, this is how to be fearless. The most difficult way. It's extremely difficult, because the more you act according to your conscience, the more the parasite will oppose you. The parasite that has given you its mind, which means it lives inside you, and outside as well. It will throw incredible pressure at you. It will even kill you. Ask Malcolm X. Ask Khalid Muhammad, Dr. Khalid Muhammad. These are people who lived according to their conscience. They're dead. However, the warrior would rather die harvesting energy impeccably than be a prostitute for the very thing the warrior is trying to be free of. You understand how it works? Rewind what I just said. And rewind again. I urge you to snip what I just said. I'm not going to repeat it. Snip what I just said out of the video. Put it on a loop in your phone and listen to it again and again and again, because you have no idea what I just said, even though you think you understand the words. Put it on a loop. You'll need to hear it again and again and again. And it will give you layers over time, layers of meaning. All right, on that note, we're on Telegram. Come and join us on Telegram. Leave in the comments below what you think about the 3 observations of the warrior and what the warriors affiliate with in the end, which is conscience. Keep your comments vaguely intelligent if you can. Take your medication before you comment. And I will see you next time. Walk in freedom. Farewell.